you know, Guinea crossed over to Liberia, taking down our flag, placing their Guinea flag up. These things are not called for. Yeah, because if things are there happening, Guinea need to think, because we can have you and then 14 Liberia and 14 Sierra Leone at the same time. This land have been there. Yeah, this land have been there over several years. So if there's any other thing, we have to engage each other, a good way that we can handle this. But to take it by violence, it is not good. You can come to Liberia, just sit and talk, some things about the land. If you feel that the land for you, you guys can settle it up. But just like that, uh, it's better. So we expect our security today to be at a point, but then they were nowhere to be found. Some youth have to gather themselves, go there, because of the few presence of the youth in that part of the area. The Guineans will have to leave that particular border today. But who knows if whether they are going to come back with reinforcement? What becomes of the people's safety in that part of the area? These are things we need to be looking at. Yeah. Even if that's happened, at least the government should be able to go there and find out what is happening. Then for the citizen themselves to go there and say, no, you guys can take the area from us. This has been our land. We live here for long. And all of these things. Yeah, because like I said, even if we go to Arcos today, to where we have Bola, with Arcos, and then we take Kavala to be our Bola, you say, then what happened to Liberia? But that's it. The people say every river should be boundary between countries. And so we were able to take that particular area. So if Guinea feel that the land belongs to them, they need to engage Liberia in a diplomatic way that everybody will understand this thing. Then to take it by violence, maybe once some money come. I think Liberia is okay because there were no arrests made. Yeah, because let first Sierra Leone, when they arrived at the border, they met some Sierra Leone security personnel. They arrested some of them, take them to Guinea, and their defense minister have to go there. But those guys are way Liberia, they know who Liberian are, so they only came stand, for the first day, and people go back. The next day they come and plan their flag pole, and then today again, it was not easy. So yeah, they know, how Liberia will change. So that is why maybe they're not made arrest, but they met people there, and the security too have to leave the area. Somebody will say that the guy said was scared because yeah, the person is not harming you. The person only come and pull their flag down. So if the person pull their flag down, why leave your bullet to go? And we're lying surveillance to go there. That is why our people the various bullets have to be well equipped when it comes to, you can be an immigration man serve inside a bowler and then you only carry pen and paper. That bowler is an entrance point. At any point you can encounter with armed robbers, so you have to get prepared. But now we'll see our people going to those bowler, they just go with pen and paper to be there. All right, so my people, that we're waiting on our panelists to join us here. But while we're waiting on it, let's see if we can get you the video from there, because yeah, I think I'll share in here. Let me see, I have the video on. Those of you watching, uh, so that you can also follow this. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Today. Is it? Yes. In the house. Okay. So let's see quickly. Now it's on the citizens of Raffia, and the time they left the area. Okay. Let me see. You can have the video on. When the citizens arrived there. Yeah. Let me download the video quickly and have it on for people that watching and people, you know, that were very much busy today. Maybe that don't follow the social media, so their self too can be able to benefit, listen to what are happening today at the Foya Bola there. So all of you too can see what is happening. At the end of the time they were going back, we're also going to have that video being played here. Yeah, because that time they cross over and time they go back. So we're going to have all that video play. Let me see quickly so I can bring this video up for, you know, those of you watching us. Yeah, let me see what I can do to get this video on. Just keep watching, right? We await our panelists, you know, to join us very, very shortly here this evening. But while we are waiting on them, let's bring you this video of the Guinean, you know, soldier that crossed over to Liberia and have their flag pole and plenty on our land, have their flag up, taking down our flag. All right, this is the video, and let me see quickly. They can punch in down for those of you watching. Yeah.
Put us light. What's pain? Spike. We have to relax pain.
No, 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 atolo. Sangaju. Fagin atolo.
All right. So this is what happened today at the Guinea border. Let's see. Yeah, Pedro is here. Let's welcome in, Pedro. Pedro, how you doing?
I'm enjoying the sun. I had a wonderful engagement today. I went to see Mamiata, and she bring greetings to you all. So we had a wonderful time together. So from there, I came right back to get ready for tonight's show, which is going to be an entertaining one tonight. I beg to differ. We have civil rights Anthony that will be helping us to understand what really happened with the legal battle Prophet Key had with the Supreme Court. And he will bring you some legal argument. You will be surprised. You can't believe that Prophet Key won. But anyhow, on the legal book, he won, but on the other ground, he's in jail serving his 6-month term. And he will bring you some legal facts. And we'll have other lawyers who have their own interpretation, like civil right, like our attorney of law, Tier 1 Gonglo, who have a different opinion on that case, whether for or against, and Arthur Johnson, who represented Kabina Jennings, who also have an opinion on it. But our special guest tonight will be taking on the two heavyweights in his analysis and his opinion. So, as soon as we get set, our guest will be coming on. His name is Theodore Abraham. He lives in the USA, and he is a civil rights attorney. So he will be our special guest tonight. Can hear you, Alex. The veteran cannot hear you.
While we are waiting on Mr. Wright and the other folks to join us here, I want to just bring in the videos of Guineans when they were going back, taking down their flag and going back to Guinea, so that people who don't have a chance today, they can be able to view or listen to what happened there. And then, if the pandemic comes before that time, we can have 1 or 2 quarters here on the land for their own point. Yeah.
But today was a heroic victory in terms of people power, citizen activism, and also defending territorial rights of Liberia.
Okay.
So not anytime in our history that have been demonstrated. So bravo to them from the veteran.
Yeah, so even though let's say bravo to them, but my fear here, veteran, is I hope those guys are not going to come back with reinforcement.
But
that's my
Alex,
fear. That's my
I
fear.
think it's time in our military be on standby. The citizen have done its part. Military need to take its course. So that's what I expect.
Let's watch and see. Yeah, let's watch and see, because I read something from the speaker that the president called for an emergency meeting pertaining to this matter. Pertaining to this matter taking place in Korea, so they can see how best they can get to them and talk about it.
But Alex, let me tell you what happened.
Our security personnel was not able to go on the scene, to talk to these guys. And even including those that serve at Ebola, they have to leave the Vera Ebola just like that, vulnerable, and then go in the tank.
But look at what all is happening. 3 videos over there tells you exactly what's going on in the country. Our ship attack, our maritime ship attack, and then Guinea want to invade our territory. And then lastly, the lawmaker crying for money and want to summon the finance minister. What's going on in Liberia?
All right, let's bring in the video so that people watching us can be able to witness what happened today.
Hello? No, you don't. It didn't put it
No, 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 no. Otolo. Sangaju. Sangaju, Frankie Antolo.
I will find another way. I will find another way. I will find another way.
Hey! Bonalo, hey! Bonalo! Kodu de walong. Wanalo wale blende. Walang. Ay bala la yoling. Depo apa yang bisa. Wala kinana go ni. Yago kinana go. This was the kinana ya returning back. Kinana another one ya somebody. Kana jate aje mungo. Aje mungole. Aje mungole. Kinaje mungo. Kinaje mungo ajere. Asema ataka sala ni kan tamna manala bela toni. Aje mungo ba. Soya be kinai. Sevena boya. Lakini hii ndio lakini Mungu yale Mungu ale bora hindale ale Mungu ale Mungu hapa mimi Mungu kama mako all right. So deny fagi that is so. Na na dimi ma kopenda ko fagi otisi. Mimma mingu.
So we hold it right there. Let's see quickly.
Alex,
Yeah.
how can my guest come on when you don't have a Google account? Is there another way they can come through the system, or you got to do it through the telephone? I can hear you, Alex.
I said we need. It was going to be good that we have you on the screen because the next one, if we can get you, I will punching through the WhatsApp line. But it would be good that you come on the screen.
So can the WhatsApp, if you come with audio,
It will
we
only
can
be. It
deal
will
with
only
him
be. Yeah, it will only
audio?
be. It will only be audio.
Yeah, okay, then how you do that?
So you just have to call the WhatsApp number. That's all.
Okay, so he can call in now?
If you have it, you can call the WhatsApp line.
Wait now, or you add his number there, or how you do it?
Can you call our number, the WhatsApp line for the studio?
Oh, I got you. Yeah, give me the number. Myself, I don't know it. Or you can text it to me.
The last number on the screen.
Can see it.
The last number on the screen is a WhatsApp number.
So I look on the flyer.
I'm putting it up. Let me see. Yeah, you seen it?
It's too small.
All
I gotta
right.
put
Yeah,
my
welcome, Mr.
glasses
Number.
on.
I'll test you the number. That welcome, Mr. Number, Cordial,
Okay.
and the rest of the folks. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Josh Number, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy to be back.
All right. Welcome to the show.
And I'm ready for Veterans Meet tonight.
No, tonight, you're good night. The
I
guest
hope
will be on your side.
he has well on tonight.
The guest will be on your side tonight. So you don't got to worry about me tonight.
Welcome to audio. And
So Ellis color your audio.
why?
Wait, okay. So Mr. Newmo, tonight is your night.
No, every night is
Because
my night.
the lawyer will be on your side to help defend.
Every night is my night. What
Okay.
I'm telling you, I mean, you're starting to realize it one by one. Thank you. So, Claudia, the floor is yours.
Welcome, Claudia.
How is everyone doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You brought some sunshine in our way. We have wonderful weather here.
Wow, and we've been having gloom and rain and off and on
Mm-hmm.
weather here the past
Ah,
2 days.
ah. The good
Oh
news is
wow,
that
I was looking at the video.
mhm. The good news is that I went to
The
see
video,
my
Alex.
Miata today.
That's how fumbling.
No, Miata Herring. My Miata. Maybe you don't know her. My Mr. Numa know her. From the morning radio show.
Mm.
You need to come as a guest on the morning radio show, Claudia. Maybe till Thursday morning. What are you doing on Thursday in the morning?
Mm. I can do it.
Yeah, you
Make
can do
it.
it. I can welcome you
Yes.
to the morning callers and the morning show to get a feel of it. So sometimes I think you will get some people can see you. You will feel like the morning will be part of you because they won't see you. so,
Yes.
so some
Definitely.
of your report you can report in the morning. That would be
That'll
unique.
be good.
But we got a lot of news today. Or before we start the show, let me make sure our guests coming. We got the ship, Liberian ship, being attacked. Our border being attacked. And then the lawmaker crying for money. They want someone they arrest the finance minister to pay their benefit. What is a day to be in Liberia? Just something for you to talk about before our guests come, Mr. Nemo and Claudia. 3 things happened on one time. They attack our ship.
Well,
Then they attack our border. Then the lawmaker crying
you,
for benefit.
well, I just want to talk on the attacks that are happening because
Okay.
what
Okay.
really fail to realize is the attacks have been happening, but more and more people are getting access to cell phones. Now you can literally get a cell phone for $39.99. Orange is giving Bonanza cell phones. People are starting to open their eyes now to technology. So now we're getting more information in and more information out. But contrary to that, some of us, the reporters in Liberia, have been following a lot of stuff that's been happening in Liberia, especially the outskirts part of the rural interior, especially like Grand Jita border, right where Alex is sitting down. I remember the former senator of Grand Jita took us on a story, and I couldn't believe it. I thought it was fake, but it had a lot to do with the land disputes, which when you look at it from outside, you don't know what's going on. You'll think it's war. But for me, I feel like these attacks have been happening, and I'm happy now people are starting to know. But we also need to understand that it's very dangerous to mob, especially enforcement. We don't know why they're here. I think someone should have took the leadership to ask, because I know people there can speak French. They know how to communicate rather than mob the same way we're being mobbed every day in Liberia. If you make a mistake and it takes someone's grandpa, you don't pay, the whole market will beat on you. And it's a dangerous thing because they're leaving. Yeah, they're going. But how will they come back and retaliate? How will they be able to complete the mission that they actually came for? So I feel like that was a very negative part on the town because they don't know what those guys were there for. They might have been chasing suspects that have been looting and laundering all within the bushes of their side. That probably could be Liberians or could be from their country. We don't know. We didn't give them a chance to explain. So that's all I wanted to say.
Mr. Nemo, you have something to add to what Claudia said or different take on your side?
Well, the first issue you talked about, I don't know anything about it. The ship being attacked.
Oh, I send it in our chat room from Front Page Africa, and the man who was the head of the maritime affair went to lawmaker to explain what happened to our ship on the 7th of March.
Okay, our ship
Yeah.
is it Liberia ship or
Oh, maritime, on a maritime carrying Liberia flag.
our flag? Where?
Yeah. I think on the sea. I think the state here where I know around Saudi Arabia, somewhere in that region.
Oh, okay. But maybe that is just falling or what?
Oh, they just talk about the injuries that happen and the true intervention of maybe our partners or whoever. Some lives were saved, but there were injuries on the attack of the ship.
Okay.
So they were reporting, yeah, to the lawmaker. And while they were doing that, also the lawmaker was fighting for the benefit, told to arrest the finance minister to come in to get a benefit. And at the same time, our border being attacked where the citizen protecting our territorial rights. And none of our military was seen around. So all these happened on one day. Lawmaker crying for the benefit. Our ship attacked earlier, January 7th, but it was being reported to lawmaker. Then lawmaker crying that it must pay benefits, arrest any kind of way the finance minister to appear to talk about their money. So what a day. I haven't seen
Can I
all of
just
that
come in
happen
again?
on one day. Eh?
Can I come in once more?
Yeah.
All right. So those two topics right there with the attack on the ship. We all know that they have pirates, and the pirates are all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the sea police are responsible to make sure and ensure that those type of things
Mm-hmm.
don't happen. But when it leaves out of our terrain, like you said, it happens far off
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, and it becomes a challenge for the secret police here in Liberia to really control how the pirates. And we're
Mm-hmm.
looking at what's happening in Libya. The enforcements of pirates has probably increased double the amount as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
20, because many immigrants that go to Libya illegally that are being detained are trying to get out to Black Seas, crossfires.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, rebels are not just enforcing themselves on land, they're also enforcing themselves in the sea. So you get more of these pirates. I just feel like maybe more enforcement and training
Mm-hmm.
for these younger guys that want to be port, these port. More people want to work at the port, offloading ships and things like that, when they should be trying to train to be security for these ships. And the
I would
benefits
say
part, okay, go ahead.
I would say the ship just happened to be in the wrong spot. A lot of things could happen beside Paris. What is
I say,
going on in the Middle East could be a factor too. Where if you in Canada, the ship carrying our flag around when the war is going on, anything can happen. It was not too clear by the head of the maritime what read it. Just say it was hate. If it was Paris, they were going to emphasize that. Maybe they didn't want to go in
Okay,
deep
so
detail what read it.
they
Fred,
could have been doing a routine check on the ship. Maybe one or two communication didn't go well, and there was probably a fight broke out. Who knows? But the details should be
Mm.
very clear to us. I think before we can really want to do
But
this.
any one of you is just a short video. If you listen to it, you will see what detail was provided.
well,
Not
Okay.
much.
for me, I'm not kind of interested in video. It is a shame.
Hmm.
Since the 60s, we had this maritime program and we don't even have a boat on the coast of Liberia. Liberia does not own anything. That's why I was wondering when you say Liberian ship. Liberia does not have even a canoe. It's a shame. Yep, it's a shame. No, so I mean, things like that. I don't want to listen to them. No, we have to
And,
grow up. We have to
and
grow up.
I agree with you. Liberia does not have anything because I can remember the company that is there to retain and store our gas. We have gas storage, but we don't have gas. We're depending on companies like Total, which of course has been excluded out due to the shortage of gas episode and chaos that happened a few years ago. NP Gas and Aminata Gas and all those guys that are having their own money to import their own gas, we are taxing them and getting other revenues from them to be able to keep their gas and get a percentage of their gas. So whenever their gas finishes, our gas finishes. So yes, if you're looking at the gas aspect to know that we don't have our own thing, I believe you, Mr. Nubo. We don't have anything. We're
We
depending
don't
on
really,
all over.
even this canoe, the American people here call banana boat. We don't have any. The government does not.
So, Mr. Nubo, how did you come up with that? Where did you get that information? Do
Oh,
you think we can get one of the fishery directors on our show? to confirm that, because I know they will have record of that. If there's absolutely no fishing boat or anything that belongs to Liberia.
No, do the research. The Liberian government does the government own a canoe, the banana boat?
No, but Mr. Nemo, longer
Before
you carry the flag of Liberia on it, it don't
no,
have to own by Liberia.
no,
It carry our flag. It register under Liberia. So
and
yeah, but
you have to be nationalistic. We have to have ship, from Cape Mount all the way to Cape Palmas. We don't have it.
on that point.
We
But you're
don't
trying to
have
say
it.
because the ship that was attacked, you say not for us. It's carrying Liberian flag. So
They
under
carry Liberian
international
flag,
law,
but
yeah,
it's not.
international law, it register under Liberia. That's
Yes,
why they carry Liberian flag.
it is not owned by Liberia. Even from
Whether
that ship,
whoever is owned by, longer it carry
from
Liberia flag, Liberia responsible.
that flag of convenience. That flag of convenience. Liberia bought or shares in this satellite company called Amasat. And what's his name? Slinger was the head of the maritime. He went and sold all the shares. Almost $1 million share. So that's why you want me to waste my time on? No, I can't do that.
No, but I mean, you guys could argue over actually being technical. That is Liberia's ship. Because it was Liberia that registered the company and forced the company to even be functional. Without its registration year, it wouldn't even be a ship to run anywhere. We gave it the platform to even go that far. So yeah, technically it's a Liberian ship.
It's Liberian, a flying Liberian flag. It's not Liberian ship. And the people, the captain, I know that the captain knew what was going on in the Middle East. And they wanted to test the water. So, I mean, I want to talk more, concentrate more on it, than what is going on or in Lofa. Mm-hmm. I'm concerned more about that than what is going on. I'm concerned more about McGill getting freedom from LACC. LACC, a few days ago, I told you that the leader at LACC has a tenure position appointed by George Weah. And other cases, nobody went to her or went to LACC and said, oh, this is what McGill did. That is saying LACC invited her, invited McGill, and they free him.
So Mr. Nemo, can you help us understand? Can you help us understand? Can you help us understand what is going on at the LACC? It said it would drop some from McGill and continue with some. What that means?
No, I don't think that what the thing said.
Go through the audio. If Alice played the audio, you will hear what she said.
Okay.
Alice, can you play that audio? I will resend it to you fresh so you can play it.
I saw a press release. It didn't say, we'll do some and we're not doing some.
It's not going to matter if they found not guilty of the allegations in their board. You either find someone guilty or you don't find them guilty. If you don't find them guilty for some and then say, okay, we'll come back.
I said, Claudia is like people in a village. If I'm fussing with Mr. Smith, the villagers will get get together. They say, run the more you run, Veteran Smith, you run. So that's why the LACC is here now.
Alice, I just sent it to you. So let's hear what she said.
I think the guest is here, so we have to go to the guest.
Okay, let me
Okay.
Hello.
Let's start. We should. Yeah. Theodore Abraham. Just wait a second. We introduce you. We just wanted to play a few minutes. The LACC information on Senator McGee, and we just can.
Just welcome me and see what we are getting here on the audio line, because we're using WhatsApp data is screen here. So welcome me and see what we're getting first, then we can hear.
Yeah. Okay. I beg to differ. Our special guest today is Theodore Abraham. He lives in USA, civil rights attorney. Welcome to the show. We can't hear you. Mr. Abraham? Hello, Mr. Abraham. Can you hear us? Alice, can you make some adjustment?
Hello?
Okay,
Yeah,
can we hear you now?
Yes, hi, how are you?
Okay, so Alice, you can mute your microphone.
My microphone meter, you're not getting it, so let's just try again.
Oh.
I'm on.
Okay, let me introduce you formally. Theodore Abraham. He says our special guest from the USA, civil rights attorney. Welcome to I Beg to Differ. And let me tell the panelists to meet you and greet you. So let me start with Claudia.
Hi, welcome to our show. We're so happy to have you, especially knowing that you're into civil rights and stuff like that. That's a big privilege for us to have you on the show. I'm a freelance correspondent and reporter here in Liberia, and I hope to have a lot of experience tonight. So thank you.
Numa, meet our guest.
Okay. Mr. Anthony Abraham, welcome to our show. I'm Joe Numbo, one of the panelists here. Thank you.
And also, let's go to Alice, meet our guest, and then you mute your microphone afterwards.
All right, so my name is Alexander Doraglu, senior reporter at Top 105.3 in Zurich, GEDEH. I'm the producer for the show I Beg to Differ. So let me say you're highly welcome on the show.
Okay. Mr. Theodore Abraham, who lives in USA and civil rights attorney, welcome officially to I Beg to Differ on Top FM 105.3 in the southeastern region of Liberia. And our panelists just introduced themselves to you. And today our focus will be on Prophet Key, what went on with Prophet Key and the Supreme Court. So before we go detail into that, Anything that I've said about you, you would like to add anything, or the introduction is fine? Mr. Abraham, can you hear me? Alex? Is the guest
Wow.
hearing me?
Hello?
Yeah,
Okay, can you hear me
we
now?
hear you.
Oh,
I said
okay.
anything you want to add about the information, or should I just move on? Can you hear me?
Are you speaking to me?
Yes.
Yes.
You want me to add anything about your?
Well,
Oh,
hello
oh,
to you and hello to everybody listening.
okay.
I'm happy to be a part of the conversation. So let me know what it is that you questions you have,
Uh,
anything
Okay.
pertaining to the subject matter, which is the contempt charge that was filed against uh, the gentleman known as Prophet Key, and the subsequent guilty verdict that was given, and now currently serving time in the Monrovia Central Prison. I take a
Okay.
contrarian standpoint. I see it differently from what is obtaining from most of the from the Supreme Court to begin with, and some notable lawyers, that the Supreme Court was right in making its decision pertaining to Prophet Key with regard to free speech. I think the Supreme Court was wrong, and I think the attorneys or the counselors who have been
So,
promulgating
so,
what the Supreme Court decision
so
was. I also think
Mr.
that
Abraham,
those attorneys or counselors have.
can you hear me? Before you start explaining or giving your position, how did we get here where the Supreme Court were able to put Prophet Key in jail? Give us the background. Anthony Abraham, can you hear me?
Can I have a father and following?
Wow.
See, the man was explaining and you interrupted him. Now we lost.
It's still on, but
Okay,
so
is he back?
he dropped a line. Let's see, maybe he'll be coming. He dropped a line.
Is he back?
Not yet.
You got to call the line direct.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, welcome back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it looks like we got a terrible connection here.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, you are clear. Mr. Numo, can you hear him clear?
I can hear you though.
Yes,
All
I
right.
can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So the veteran drop, let's see if we can have him back on. I don't know.
I can hear you, but I can't hear anybody else.
Wow.
Yeah, but I can hear you. I hear you very clearly.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Wow.
Are we online? Yeah, I hear you very clearly, but I can't hear anybody else.
You can hear me? You can hear me?
Come on, let's see.
Can you hear the veteran?
Okay, yeah, hold on small. Let's see what we can do here.
Claudia left.
Yeah. On a USB. And that is the same USB. What's wrong?
I mean, I can hear you, but I can't hear anybody
Oh,
else.
oh, so Ellis, he can hear you. So you don't gotta close your. If you close your mic, you will hear us. Can you hear me now, Mr. Kamara? Hello, Mr. Kamara. Can you, Mr. Abraham? I mean, Mr. Abraham, can you hear us?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Can you hear me, Mr.
From here, you
Abraham?
get.
Yeah,
Hello.
I can hear you, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, I can't hear anybody else. So I don't know if I'm being heard or if they have
Okay.
questions, if I can hear them. So I can't hear,
Okay.
I really can't hear anything else besides you.
Can you hear
All right.
me?
Veteran, he's saying that he is not getting any of you, only me. So let me see.
Uh-huh. So when you open the microphone, and maybe
My mouse is
so maybe
speaking. He getting me, but then he is not getting you guys.
so what happened if from my on the microphone, if he called me and I put my phone there?
Come again?
Can we work it in a way that he called me?
Let me just call to see you in front of me. What next I can do to see how best audio can be set, because we on both audios the same or USB. So I don't know why what going on, which we are not getting it from your
Yeah, I
side.
mean, you're very clear. You're very clear. I mean, I'd say you're very clear, granted that it goes in and out every once in a while, but you're clear. But unfortunately,
So can you not hear me, Mr. Abraham? Miss Claudia, talk to see whether the guests will hear you.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Can hear you also. Mr. Newman, talk to see whether he can hear you.
Hello.
Hello.
Do you hear
Do
me?
you hear me?
Only me getting every one of you. So let me just do something. I come in. Yeah.
Play your match, Alex. So while we're waiting for our guests, we can be talking, and when Alex get ready to put our guests, and then we stop the conversation. So Claudia, I think you're on my side when it comes to all of the ships that carrying Liberia flags. Anything happen to those ships, Liberia responsible. You agree to that, Claudia?
No, I didn't say that. I said if a ship is
No,
coming from
I just
Liberia,
asking you. I just asking you that. So what's the benefit of carrying the flag?
it's because they got some kind of connection with us. Like you said, we registered here, so
Hmm.
might not be our body of ship, like ship, ship, or the company was registered under our, jurisdiction. So it's literally like our
It's
ship.
literally like our ship.
The transmit
The
run
transmit
away.
run away.
So
So
Alex, I think you just need
Alex, I think
to
you
take
just
one
need
of the
to
switch
take one of the switch
connection cables and
connection
connect it to your
cables and
phone
connect it to your phone
and
I
just raise up the
and
volume
just
on
raise
it.
up the volume on it.
I think
I
I
think
think
I think
we need
we need
to
to
oh
oh
do some
do some
rearrange
rearrange
before
before
a guest
a guest
appear.
appear.
We need
We
to
need
do
to
some
do some
testing
testing
No,
because
because
that's
almost every
almost
night
every night
we got guests,
we got
we
guests,
can't hear the
we
guests,
can't hear the
or
guests, or
this will happen,
this
that
will
will happen.
happen, that will happen.
no,
Or the guest
Mr.
will
New,
start
Mr.
before,
New,
or the guest
Mr.
will start with every line.
Every
Or
line.
the guest
No,
does not
Ellie's talking
have
and you
the
talking is sounding bad.
so
You got to put a microphone that we can hear you.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
all of us need to mute our mics and
Yeah,
whoever's talking.
we need to do some planning and and we need to do some testing before the show open to see, if the guests or the guests or let's say a new panelist would be able to get on. I mean, we are wasting plenty of people time because we don't do that. Those are the things we don't do in the background.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Mr. Numo, I agree. I in a sense, but I don't think that will solve the problem. I think it's a technical something we need to buy. If we had a telephone connected to our website, it will make it much easier for the call to go through. And then or the type of software we're using. Or if we have a direct telephone line that we can call the guests. So those three things you have to work before it can work, and not just testing before the shoot.
Okay. Without the
We just have to
phone,
invest. We just have to invest
like,
in it.
try to explain, mute yourself. Without the phone line you're talking about, or
Mm-hmm.
the telephone,
Mm-hmm.
what do? We just drop
We have only one way through the streamline, stream yard or what stream something. If a caller can't get through the stream yard because they don't have Google, then we in a trouble, and that's what happened in this case.
what Google now.
Meaning that the person have to have a Google account before they use our stream yard. So if we had a telephone,
And
so if we have a guest like him,
what kind of guests who will get in Monrovia there from in Monrovia or from Liberia? A panelist that we don't have no Facebook account or WhatsApp
Mr.
account or YouTube.
Mr. Google, as a station, you should have everything to your mic to adjust. So
Mr. Google.
that question. So the question you're asking, we should have it to adjust to our special guests when we need a special guest that might not have the technology we have. So we either call them by phone, or we use the StreamYard, or we use audio voices. So we should have the ability to do all three.
Okay.
Because we experience this in the future.
And how many we use per night?
How many what?
How many of those techniques we use per night? And
tonight we have string. And if the guests can't get them,
Yeah, so Chief, just drop the line. We'll call you back as soon as we get everything set up. We'll call you back.
Okay, I'll drop it. Okay.
Okay. So that's a one way. Keller, you want to say something? Okay, I heard somebody wanted to say something. So Ellis will try another way from the studio direct to the guest. That's another way we can use it. If a guest can't come to our link, and then we do it that way.
They put a guest on the speakerphone.
Oh, please, so.
Oh, that's another way.
So where is everyone else? I'm not seeing anyone. Where's Mr. Wright, Archie Wright?
I told you didn't see me. Maybe traffic coming from work. So that's why it's good to have people, the diversity in our show. If one person not here, the other person can pick it up. There will come a time I might not make it. Mr. Mumo will pick it up, or you will pick up Claudia. So So he can be here. The veteran here can pick it up for him, and when he come on board, then he continue. So just the other night, you couldn't do it. You couldn't come on women's. We had a wonderful guest yesterday, and you were not here, Claudia. But I can understand.
I had a very bad fresh cold. My voice was sticky.
Okay, I know. That's
I
what I
thought we
said.
were going to be playing the
Uh, that would have been a good thing to play a while he trying to do the connection. But if he can do it, let me see. Ellis, if you can play that audio at LSCC while you're doing the connection, do it.
And Alex is muted. Mhm.
So, Mr. Nubo, what do we do with all this quiet time? Because we got a lot of space here.
I think a lot of
Just you
stuff.
and I politicking. This is on mute. Veteran Smith is gone. Everyone is missing in
A lot
action.
of stuff have to
We
be.
can start up with a conversation, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of stuff have to be done. It's hard to start new thing, and when you get a handle of it, I mean everything go on smoothly. And um, for example, the guest last night was thinking that they was just a Boy Scout. So I don't see any female here. And I said, Claudia was here. She just left. Yep. So, besides doing housework, we need to bring some females on board.
I have a young lady. She's just 16, 17 years old. She's a high school graduate and she's presently attending School of Journalism. She's very intelligent beyond her beyond our imagination. I'm eager to have her on here because she's young and
Mhm.
just perspective of things, bringing the youthful audience on board would be a big niche for us as well. I have a very, and she speaks well, so her grammar sounds good. And I was letting her know about the program. I even put her on assignment to listen to our show every night. The next day, she gives me insights on what she feels should have been done, shouldn't have been done, and etc. etc.
Mhm.
I'll give you her contact so you can call her.
Okay. Okay. There was a lady, she was in Liberia, but she said she is not in Liberia anymore. Called Fanny, I think Fanny Colley. It looked like she is out of the country. I tried to contact her. So yeah, you stay in Liberia, and she said, "No, I'm not in Liberia." So I don't know where she is. But we gotta bring some females on board, and we move forward.
So, but then it will be hard in this way.
What will be hard now, Veteran Smith?
Yeah, we still trying to get the guests, and it's still difficult. I'm waiting for Eric's.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
just I just shared a link with him through a WhatsApp, and you need to click on it and come in. That's all. So let's see. I just calling him, but he's not picking up.
Okay.
Mr. Smith, the same. Yeah, Alice, please mute.
All right.
Mr. Smith, Ellis has the the link on his WhatsApp. So he has nothing to do with email before he enters. So the link has been sent to him, and all he needs to do is to be able to click on the link, and the link will automatically take him to the studio. And once he enters the studio, that means he will us. Then we'll bring him on live. So yes, I mean, I thought it was. I mean, he was amazing it, but I have to drive from the house straightly to the studio, and I just realized that he's doing the right thing. So the problem there is with the guests, not Ellis. Absolutely.
Thank you. So uh what do you think about this
Okay.
lofa issue,
So
Becky?
if while waiting for Alex or the guest to call in on WhatsApp and when they're ready, so what we could do if that we just touch on that LACC if they can put
And
that audio.
is that Mr. Wright just informed me that he's running late.
Okay.
I'm sure he, but then that would be very late. So it means uh, you will have to take charge of the program. I'm
Okay.
working on everything I can to
Okay.
making sure that hopefully by next week I will start joining from the house because
Okay.
I've done some setup and I'm very sure that the house will give me some positive results. You know,
Okay.
in joining, we'll be having some sort of discussion and so that we will be on the right track. So
Okay.
hopefully we'll be on the platform by next. So yes, but I'm still around. Let's do exactly what's unfolding and we all
Okay.
can together.
Okay. Thank you. So Alex, are we on course? Just like how Miss Chi Okroma is on with all the picture of the guests on. Can we do the same thing? The same way with Claudia.
So so while waiting for the guests to come on,
You
I
can
don't know
be talking.
whether you have not been
Yeah,
following Mr. Smith
yeah. We get
and
subjects on the table with especially what's happening with the legislature crying for the benefit for, and it should bring the finance minister every way possible for him to come and why they're not getting the benefit. So that's one of the issue on hand. And also the maritime affair reporting to the legislature of a Liberian ship being attacked. There was a lot of injuries, but most of the people got safe. And lastly, the heroic act by our citizen in Lofa with all of the fear that was in front of them with the army, the Guinean army lifting the flag. But our brave people in around the Foya district, around that area in Lofa, were able to lift up Liberian flag and forced the military people of Guinea to retreat and go back to where they came from. To me, that made the Veteran Day today, and that worthwhile for discussion. but I didn't see any of our military around. So, what happened in the future? What will be the next act? We don't know. But anyway, our guest is here. Instead of wasting any more time, I see his name, Theodore Abraham. It means that he is our guest. Welcome to Top FM 105.3. I bet to differ. You making your debut the first time you on this show. Welcome to the show, Mr. Abraham.
Well, thank you,
Can
thank you,
you?
thank you very much. I'm happy to be a part of your show, and I look forward to a very lively discussion.
Okay.
Let's just start.
So let's go deep. Time is not our friend. How did we get here with Prophet Keith issue where the Supreme Court were able for the contempt and were able to put him in jail for 6 months? How did we get here? Just give us some background.
Okay. Again, thanks for having me. The few weeks ago, there's this gentleman called Prophet Key. I think he has another name, but they refer to him as Prophet Key. He he's in the habit of having these podcasts where he uses a lot of invectives and vulgarity, and what in Liberia we call man cuss. He does a lot of that stuff, and he did it to the Chief Justice of the Liberia Supreme Court, and the Chief Justice cited him for criminal contempt of court. And based on the markers and whatever, they found him guilty, or at least he pled guilty to the charges, and is now serving some time in the South Beach prison compound in Monrovia, Central Monrovia. My position is that I think the Supreme Court got it wrong, or I disagree with the Supreme Court's ruling on finding him for contempt, because they exceeded their authority constitutionally and statutorily. The Supreme Court exceeded its authority. So that's where I stand, and I'll be happy to answer questions to be more specific on those charges.
Okay, my next question would be, you somehow use tier one Gonglo support or not support of what happened to Prophet Key and Arthur Johnson, associate judge, or who represented Associate Justice Kabina Jana, as these are two heavyweight giants, but you seem to disagree with what they stated in the law or against Prophet Key. Why did these two gentlemen state that you have a disagreement with, and how your position can be stated over with their position? Can you just clarify?
Okay, yeah, I can do that, but before making the clarification, you probably might want to mute yourself because I'm hearing a double sound. Okay, good. Before making that clarification, let me say that the criminal contempt charge has to do with disobeying. Excuse me. They got two types of contempt. They got civil contempt and they got criminal contempt. And whenever you show any kind of disagree or disrespect to the court, they can see it as contempt. Anything that can obstruct the administration of justice, the court sees that as contempt. Now, here's where I said, before I get to Councilor Gonglo and Councilor Arthur Johnson, whom I think they're very well-respected lawyers, and I like them very much, especially Councilor Gonglo. I think he's a very, very good lawyer, very civil rights attorney who, represented a lot of Liberians in so many different capacities. I respect him a lot. And Arthur Johnson, as you said, it was pretty good, especially when it came to a Kabina Janneh trial or for the impeachment trial. But let me, before I get into that, so what is this contempt charge? First thing you have to do is look at the Constitution of Liberia. The Constitution of Liberia in Article 74, it says, in all matters of contempt of court, whether in the Supreme Court or in other courts, the penalties shall be imposed and fixed by the legislature and shall conform to provisions of fundamental rights laid down in this Constitution. So this is what the Liberian Constitution says about contempt. It gives the legislature the power to set up what contempt is and what penalties there are. Now, what the legislature did then was create a portion in what they call in the judicial law, which specify what contempt is. And based on that, they even laid down the punishment for contempt, which has to be no more than 30 days in prison. Here it said now the Supreme Court is coming up and putting this gentleman in jail for 6 months. Where do they get that authority from? And then they also said that because he insulted the Chief Justice's mother. Now, there's no way I will agree for anybody to insult anybody. And I think there should be laws prohibiting such insults, especially on the public airwaves. But until those laws are instituted, you cannot just come up on the fly and make those laws because you don't like what happened. And in this case, the Chief Justice was upset that they abused his mother, which all of us would be, but there's no law that prevents him from doing that in that particular context. Now, Councillor Gonglo, well-respected lawyer, said, well, the reason why the court could do that is because in the Liberian Penal Code, there are sections that were removed, which is known as the Abdullah K. Kamara law, something like that, had to do with free speech. And those sections removed from there did not include section that had to do with cussing somebody's mother. So that freedom of speech has limitation. And I think Councillor Johnson also echoed that the freedom of speech comes with limitation. And I agree freedom of speech comes with limitation, but you have to ask yourself, what are the limitations? Now, until there are laws that specifically address those issues, there cannot be limitations. And that's what the Supreme Court did. And that's what Councillor Johnson and Councillor Gonglo are alluding to. I mean, I can go on, but I'll let people ask questions. And maybe during the question, I can elaborate.
Okay, let me ask my last question, then I'll put it to Mr. Newmo, who seem to have similar position like you.
Okay.
So the Supreme Court have made its recommendation or have put Prophet Key in jail. And now they're telling the lawmakers and the other branches, come up with your own disciplinary measure for speech that might be saying harmful to people. Come up with your own rules or disciplinary rule. Why you think, if you say they were wrong, and then now they're telling the other branches to come up with their own disciplinary measure to stop how people use words and languages that might not be pleasant to women and to others? Why you think they can say that if they were not right in the first place? And how would the other branches interpret that from the Supreme Court, Chief Justice?
Okay, good question. All right. Now, You got to turn. Okay, mute yourself. So it's like what they call putting the cart before the horse. You make you make a rule or make a law, and now you're going back and say you guys make your laws. The thing is, there was no law in place in the first. There was no law there for them to have followed. So now you want to go and say make laws. That should have been the first thing that they should have done. They should have made the laws to say all policies. And here's where they get that from, which is, again, we have to refer to the Constitution. This is why this, I guess, what the Supreme Court is trying to do here, and they're doing it the backwards way. And they got that from Article 5. And I'm making reference to the Constitution, so at least we can see that these are not things that are being made up. There are texts that we have to look at. So let me just give you Article 5 of the Liberian Constitution real quick. Article 5 talks about the general principle of national policy. And what that general principle says is like it aims, and I'm reading now, aims at strengthening the national integrity of people of Liberia, regardless of ethnicity, regional, or other differences, into one body politic. And the legislature, listen to that, it said the legislature shall enact laws promoting national unification and the encouragement of all citizens to participate in government. B, it says to preserve, promote positive Liberian culture. See, this is where they're coming from. Positive Liberian culture, ensuring that traditional values which are compatible with public policies and national progress are adopted and developed as an integral part of the growing needs of Liberian society. Now, the reason I stress that one, because the Supreme Court and other lawyers are saying, well, Marcus is not part of our culture. Marcus and all these things, invectives, obscenity is not part of our culture. You know, you and I growing up, you know, certain things we couldn't do around big older people. We just had respect for them. And I understand all that. But when it comes to the law, when it comes to taking someone's freedom away, even those practices are things that we practice, those are not law. They were just custom we practiced. If you want to take someone's freedom away, Article 5 says the legislature shall enact the laws. So in the absence of the legislature enacting those laws, we can't just arbitrarily act because we're upset. Because Article 5 says, so now he's going back and saying, well, based on that, the policy, well, we have to have respect, you know, and all that thing, people should take steps. And that's good. They can take steps to say we can't do this. But until those steps are taken, you can't start putting people in jail because you don't like the fact that they insulted your mother. I wouldn't like that either. I think former President Sirleaf had it right. I think she did. When she said the legislature or the legislature should create law. I think she spoke the last time, should create laws to address these issues. I 100% agree with that. Until those laws are created, you can't make no laws. Where do you have the authority to put someone in jail for 6 months when the laws that were passed by the legislature said no more than 30 days? Where do you get that power from? And what scares me more is almost all the lawyers in Liberia are afraid to speak. You shouldn't be afraid of the Supreme Court. You have to respect the Supreme Court. You definitely have to respect the Supreme Court. But you're afraid to speak? You got to be critical. If the Supreme Court makes a decision that is not right in your opinion, you say it's not right. If you're upset, you express your obsession. Now, that doesn't mean you can threaten somebody. It doesn't mean you can libel someone, you can lie on somebody or just make false accusation on the person. You can't do those things even though you got the freedom of speech. But those are laws, there are laws that say you can't do those things. So those laws are there. So if you do those things, you are abusing that freedom that you have. But there's no law. If you look in the Liberia Penal Code, it says nothing about obscenity. And this is where I heard Councillor Arthur Johnson the other day and defining obscenity and doing this. And he referred to a case in the United States talking about Miller versus California, and the Supreme Court defined obscenity, and he went on and on. Perfect, that's great. But what Councillor Johnson is missing, California has a statute on obscenity. California say this, you can't do this, you can't do that. Liberia doesn't have it. So you can't just jump to California law to interpret Liberia law. And I see a lot of lawyers in Liberia, even the Supreme Court, they jump to the laws in the United States and say, well, the United States did this, and we copy our laws from there. The only time you have to go to the United States for what they call persuasive authority is if your law does not speak to that particular issue, and you're looking for ways in which you can find the answer. But your law already spoke on it. It told you how long the person can be in jail. It told you what constitutes, criminal contempt. It tells you those things. So now, if you want to include that you insult the Chief Justice or any of the associate justices, then make that a law. But until you do, you can't put someone in jail. And again, I'm not supporting anybody cussing anybody. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying we have to have procedures to follow. And those procedures were not followed.
Okay, let me go to Mr. Ansi, Mr. Yume. But Claudia, what's your two questions to our guest, Mr. Theodore Abraham, our civil rights lawyer? Two questions, Claudia. Oh, she not there? Okay, what happened? Claudia left. So, Alex, you send just the case. That go to the line for the callers to ask questions. So when they come, we don't have to interrupt. So, Alex? Alex, you hear me? Alex, you have question, or you can put it to the callers.
Yeah,
I'm not
I have a.
hearing it. Okay, I was looking for you. You left us. Ask your
Oh,
question before we go to the line.
all right. Can you mute your mic? There's a little feedback.
Okay.
The question I have for you, Mr. Theodore Abraham, is you said that the sentence that he was handed is like, sounds like it's unorthodox. It's beyond the amount he should have received. But looking at the contempt itself, judges have the discretion to decide the amount of time they want to give you under that contempt. I've never seen it anywhere where it says it's a mandatory that it only be 30 days. So I want to know from you, is it a mandatory 30 days or is it under the judge's discretion? That's what I wanted to. Then my second question is, why hasn't he appealed, or why hasn't there been any advocacy or protest or anything to get his sentence reduced? Do you think that if the whole entire world is satisfied with his sentence? And that's my second.
Okay, your first question is why the judges have the latitude to impose whatever time they want to impose. That's the first place where I think the court got it wrong, because let me just give a quick example. In the United States, when you look at the United States Constitution, where it talks about, there's nowhere in the United States Constitution they talk about contempt. Nowhere they talk about contempt. Contempt is what they consider to be an inherent right. There's looking at it from the standpoint like, in order for this court to be functional, you can't disrespect the court without any kind of penalties against you. You can't do this. So they have that inherent power relying on what is known as the English common law. Okay, so this is all in the United States. Liberia has a similar kind of law where we do English laws, which is also known as common law. And in some cases, we rely on the United States law jurisprudence to help interpret our laws. But the difference here is the United States does not talk about how contempt should be charged, how contempt to the extent to which the court can do X, Y, Z. So Liberia, on the other hand, tells you, unlike the United States Constitution that doesn't tell you, Liberia Constitution tells you, and that's what I read first. I said, Article 74 said, in all matters of contempt of court. It didn't say some, it said all matters. And it even specifically said whether in the Supreme Court. So they mentioned the Supreme Court. This is the Constitution now. Whether in the Supreme Court or in any courts, the penalties to be imposed shall be fixed by the legislature and shall conform to the provisions of fundamental rights laid down in this Constitution. So the biggest law in the land say the penalty shall be fixed. The legislature went to work and created in article, I think it's 12 point something in the judicial law, which tells you exactly what contempt is. In keeping with Article 74, they did their job. And in so doing, they also said that the penalty shall not exceed 30 days. I think it was $500 fine or $100 fine or some fine, but they got it in different degradations all the way down to the justice of the peace. Those things are fixed according to the Constitution. So there is no way you can go above that without violating the Constitution. It is not subjective at that point. It has to be objective based on the laws that have been set aside. Now, the second question as to why the people aren't doing it is the thing that fears me the most, because they are afraid. They are afraid because the thing is, oh, when you say this, the Chief Justice then will be vexed with us. When they might not want to listen to our case, they might rule against us. Are you kidding? That is a frightening thing. For you to think the Chief Justice must like you before he rules favorably in your case, or if he doesn't like you, I mean, we're all human beings. We understand that. But it shouldn't be based on your personal affinity to someone as to how you judge your case. If you look on the Temple of Justice, well, at least that's what we used to call it. I think it's still Temple of Justice. It says justice shall be done to all men. And you look at that little statue, what they got with the Lady Justice. Her eyes are blindfolded, meaning that you shouldn't see this person or that person, the color of the skin or whatever, in administering justice. It has that skill, meaning that you should be fair and balanced. But they're afraid. And that's why I'm saying, people, we can't do this. Respect the court. By all means, respect the court. I heard Councilor Johnson saying, oh, when you stay in the court, the Supreme Court, are you kidding me? Those people are almost next to God. No, they're not. They're not next to God. They are the final arbiter of constitutional matter, but they're not the final arbiters of law. You know who the final arbiter of law is? The people, because that's what it says in the Constitution. All powers is inherent in the people. So if we feel that we don't like certain things, we have to voice our opinion. As long as you don't threaten someone, you don't, tarnish someone's reputation by spoiling their name and saying all kinds of negative things about them that aren't true. And here's the funny thing: the penal code Liberia Penal Code removed that particular provision that has to do with accusing someone. So in the Prophet Key situation, he said a lot of things besides cussing the Chief Justice man. He said the Chief Justice did something about land issue, the Chief Justice taking money, and those are all corrupt practices. But you see, they never included that in the charge because that was taken from the law, from the Abdullah K. Kamara free speech law. So now you can you can talk about the court, which it makes to me, which is worse, for you to say a judge is corrupt or for you to cuss the judge. To me, I think when you say the judge is corrupt, that threatens the court more, because now if this judge is corrupt, how do I expect to have a fair hearing before that judge? But that is no longer part of the law because it was repealed, it was removed. So the thing is, I mean, it's scary why they wouldn't speak up. And in some way, I understand, because our society is such that we're still a small country, relatively speaking. So jobs are very scarce, and maybe that's their livelihood. And because we're in a situation where people can hold them at certain standard depending on what they say, so they're afraid to speak. Maybe that might be the only reason, but it shouldn't be that way.
Okay, so let me come in a bit. So what exactly?
One more question before we go to the line.
Since you're
All right,
saying
go ahead.
is like the sentence on contempt is observed, what exactly was he charged with? Was it contempt or criminal charges?
He was charged for contempt of court, which is a criminal contempt, and because he used invectives against the Chief Justice, he cussed the Chief Justice.
So that goes beyond the boundaries of contempt. That means that it doesn't have to be 30 days.
No, it doesn't go beyond the charge itself is criminal contempt. Criminal contempt is if you do anything to disrespect the court. Okay, now if you're charging someone, you have to charge them based on what you think they did wrong. So if you say you charge them for criminal contempt, then you say, well, what is criminal contempt? Criminal contempt is if you do anything that is considered disrespecting the court. Now, some argue and say, but if you cuss the Chief Justice, man, you're disrespecting the court.
Okay.
Well, that's not how, I mean, that's what some people say, you're disrespecting the court. But
the
no.
Entire body.
Yeah. Some argue say, well, you disrespect the entire body because the Chief Justice is part of the court. Okay, that's the argument some people make, and I understand the reason why they make that argument. But it was not intended to isolate this person to put them in a certain class. If you're a Chief Justice, and I heard Councilor Johnson also saying that, when you go home, you're still a Chief Justice. So that means if you're Chief Justice, you go home, and your wife made you vex, and she says something to you like you're charged of contempt, or your neighbor says something, you're charged. No, it has to be for the functioning of the court, not because you don't like it. So how is it that when you call somebody ma, it will affect how you administer justice? It doesn't. It's just we don't like it. Anybody calls my mom, to me, myself for it. All right? But of course, when I go for you, that would be another crime on my part too, depending on the nature of the fight. But I'm just saying that until these things are made to be against the law, you can't come out and do the job. The Supreme Court is doing the job of the legislature, and that's not their function. So I understand what you're saying. Oh, when you cuss, then you're going beyond. But that's not what they're charging for. They didn't charge him for beyond going contempt. They're charging for contempt. Well, what constitutes contempt? It already tells you what constitutes contempt. And it tells you what the punishment is for contempt based on criminal contempt. So it's nothing about beyond.
So
Okay.
thank you very
So
much.
so you
Okay.
mentioned 30 days and they gave him
Mhm.
6 months. Could you think an appeal, or if he served 30 days he could be released, or he just
You,
have to
you,
fulfill
you-
the 6 months?
no, you have to fulfill the 6 months because you got to turn yourself up. Yeah, me too. Yeah, because remember now, we have to. As much as I say I don't like the Supreme Court's decision, my dislike of the decision is based on the Constitution. The Constitution said the Supreme Court shall be the final arbiter, so you can't appeal that, except you want to go to ECOWAS court, which ECOWAS court probably wouldn't have any jurisdiction in that matter because that's Liberian law. Of course, you can do the ECOWAS, you can go around it this way and say, oh, it's human rights and this and that. And ECOWAS can make that decision, but it has no bearing on Liberia because Liberia will do what Liberia wants to do. You see, the Supreme Court, the ECOWAS ruled that the Liberia was wrong when they impeached Kapina Janet and they told them to do X, Y, Z. Up until now, they haven't done it, and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you can do diplomatically and all, but that's a different matter. So I'm just saying that until they have the specific law addressing those issues, you can't make laws on the fly. You see, this is where the legislature should go to work and say, okay, well, this thing is causing problems here, and we don't like it. And the proliferation of internet discussion, people are being so rude and they're saying this, they're saying that, and we need to put a stop to it. Then you create the law to put a stop to it because they have something in Liberia what they call due process of law. You can't charge me with a crime if I don't know what the crime is. You can't charge me with a crime if I don't know this is a crime. You know, and just so,
Okay.
yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. No, I'm just trying to get the callers to call in and ask few questions. Say, it's going. So,
Yeah,
Ellis,
go
can you
ahead. Go
pull a
ahead.
few calls from the caller, and then we'll come back after the callers.
Well, so that's it this evening, folks. If you're there, let us say good evening. Those of you just joining us, thanks for joining. Just keep listening, don't you go away. So you listen to our guests here explaining a wide range of issue when it comes to the Supreme Court ruling on Prophet Key case. Yeah, so it's about time that you call in and let's hear from you. Maybe you want to ask one or two questions to him. There's something you don't understand that you want to know about. Yes, it's about time that you put in your call 0776 105 105 881 143504 0776 105 105 881 143504 are the two numbers tonight that if you pull through, you're going to be live here. Top 105.3 0776 105 105 881 143504. You will be live. Let's hear from you this evening. The guest is here to answer any questions from you pertaining to this issue that he is discussing. Yeah, not answer of the issue or what he's talking about. So yeah, the line is open. Let's hear from you. 0776 105 105 881 143504. We go on the line and pick Bedekatu. The retired captain, welcome to the show.
Yeah, Ellis, thank you. Good evening, and good evening to the professor as well as the studio guest. Thank you. I got a question. Am I live? Are they getting me?
Yeah, you are live.
Thank you. My question is, I would like for the counselor to please make this clear to us. the decision or the action taken by the Supreme Court against Prophet Key, was it lawful? Meaning the charges leveled against him and the sentence, the tenure of sentence on Prophet Key, that is 6 months, was all lawful was it by law that they did it, or it was because of maybe somebody had issue personally against Prophet Key and they decided to use power? I want you to please clarify this for us.
All right. Thank you. 0776105105 881143504 0776105105 881143504 are the numbers of put you through tonight. Let's hear from you here on top 105.3. 0776105105 881143504. We're going to be live. So while we are waiting, we'll play the theme song here.
I beg to differ, Liberia. My people like a typo. Top FM 105.3, we on the air. Leader, shout, Sheku Koroma.
0776105105 881143504. We has up to 9 minutes up to 12. If we can get you by 11:52, have to go back to the guest instead of keeping them waiting. We pick up this person. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, your name and where do you join us from? Come again, your name? Best man, welcome to the show.
Okay. Thanks for giving the privilege to be on your wonderful platform. Yeah, my question goes to the civic care. I want to know which part of the law will be 30 days. That's all.
All right. Thank you so much. He said best man who?
Tato's best man.
Tato best man. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, folks, that's it. Put in your calls and let's hear from you here this evening. 0776 105 105 881 3504.
I don't need God. If they hide the truth, we go.
0776 105 105 881 3504. 0776 105 105 881 3504. And you're going to be live. If you can't get to, you have to go back to the guest will respond to those two callers here quickly, and then we'll keep the show running. Yeah. If we can't get you, have to go back to the guest quickly instead of keeping him waiting here on the show. Yeah, 0776 105 105 881 3504. 0776 105 105 881 3504. And you will be live here this evening. Okay, so we have to leave it at this. Go back to our panelists here to continue the show. Yeah, the guests need to respond to those questions. So Bedra is back to you guys.
Thank you very much. You can move your mic. Call your mic off. Okay. So, Councillor Theodore Abraham, you heard the two questions from the callers. Can you respond to the callers?
I mean, basically, we've already discussed what to say, but let me just reiterate because they wanted to know if the first caller wanted to know if it was lawful what they did to Prophet Key. In my opinion, from my understanding and reading of the law, it was unlawful what they did to Prophet Key. That's what they call judicial activism, where you make laws from the bench. That is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to interpret the laws that have been made by the legislature, not you make the laws. And that's what they did. So the uh, the 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 law has already been fixed according to the Constitution. The punishment for contempt, criminal contempt, and this is what he was charged with. He was charged with criminal contempt. So what does the law say about criminal contempt? We say that according to article, not article, but section 12, section 12.5, the judicial law, it says disorderly, contemptuous, or insolent behavior directed towards to interrupt its proceeding, okay, to interrupt the proceeding in court or to impair the respect due to its authority. Now, its authority means that when the court tells you you have to pay a fine, or the court tell you say you have to sit down, or the court tell you say, you can't speak a certain way in court, that's their authority. Their authority is to tell you what the law is and how you should follow the law. The authority doesn't mean that because they're in a restaurant and somebody bring food to them and they put too much salt in it, they say, no, this is contempt. You can't start holding people in contempt for all these things. So they exceeded the authority. But let me just since we always like to refer to United States law, which I do refer to United States law, but in certain situations when we do not have anything in our law to support it, and then we can use it for what we call persuasive authority, which helps us understand how to go about it. Now, here's an interesting case here, okay, in the state of Georgia. I'll just kind of go it real quickly just to give some people an understanding of how these things work. Let's say a Georgia court convicted one Wilson for violating state statute, okay, that the law that the people made in Georgia, they say the violator is. They say the statute, which is the law by the legislature, said that any person who without provocation use tool of another person in his presence words of abusive language tending to cause a breach of peace shall be guilty of misdemeanor. Okay, so that what the Georgia statute said. Now, Liberia statute doesn't have that, but the Georgia statute say any person who does this, to affect the breach of the peace, they consider that contempt. They consider it misdemeanor. All right. So they found this man guilty. So the man went to the Supreme Court of the United States and said, no, wait a minute. Georgia made a law that is not specific. They just say abusive language. Yes, what the United States Supreme Court said. They say, yes, we agree with you, Mr. Wilson. The Supreme Court said that Georgia law was unconstitutional. And the reason why, they said because the law was vague, meaning that it was just so broad, anything can fall in the web. So when I hear most of our great lawyers in Liberia, and some of them I really, really admire, I think they're very, very good lawyers. I really do think so. But when I hear them say, oh, you can't abuse somebody, what is abuse? Every time you see a statue, you see a portion of the statue where they tell you what the word is, what they mean by this, because words can have so many different meanings. So they will always have a definition section that will specifically speak to what they mean by this. So if you just say you can't cuss, well, what I might consider cuss might not be what you consider to be cuss. What I might consider insulting might not be what you consider to be insulting. Everything should be placed in some context. So the American Supreme Court said Georgia, you're wrong. You can't create a law and say you can't cuss. What is specific cuss you're talking about? And later on, in subsequent cases, the people got together and said, okay, fine. Since you say you can't cuss, you can't do this, let's be specific what we mean. So they made a definition of what they meant when they talk about insanity, obscenity. They say anything that you do that has to do with sexual orientation and all those different things, what they call prurient interest. I mean, they went on and on and on. But the point was they made a specific law to address that particular issue. See, if we don't have those laws and the court just jump and start making laws, then we're in trouble. Today might be Prophet Key. What if it's somebody? What if it's you or me or somebody else? The Supreme Court don't like what you did or what you said, and they create some law just to punish you. They can't do that, you know. So that's the problem that I have with the Supreme Court's decision and the interpretation from a lot of the lawyers in Liberia right now.
Okay, Alex, you have question? I ask you only 2 questions, Alex.
I can't hear if you're asking.
You getting me?
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
I have no questions for you. I'll reserve.
Okay. Oh, why you so Alex is so be going for the Supreme Court, so you want to do?
No, not because of that.
Oh, okay. I'm just joking.
So, Mr. Abraham.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So where do we go from here? When the Supreme Court have stated the other branches should come up with their own discipline laws. Will they respect the desire of the Supreme Court to come with their disciplinary rule?
Well, I mean, they may do that, but you see, then we'll have to run into problems as well too, because the you got to mute yourself, boss. Because the legislature has procedures, rules and procedures, and one of the things that protect them, they can speak the way they want to speak in the chambers. You know, they can speak that. Of course, they can all decide and say, well, we're not going to do this again. And if they decide that they're not going to use invectives, then that so be it. And another thing I heard, and I keep bringing these things up because Councillor Johnson is a very good lawyer, and when he speaks, a lot of people listen to him, and definitely so does Councillor Gonglo. Councillor Johnson said, oh, he was listening to a speech in the Ghanaian parliament where one of the men said, address another colleague in the parliament, and he said the man lied. And the officer who are in the parliament said that the man should retract the word lie against his colleague before he go further. The man will not go further until he retracted the word that he had used. But you see, here's a problem we always have. We'll jump and grab another person's situation and don't understand the fundamental underpinnings of their situation. In Ghana, and you just can do a Google search, in Ghana, they're part of the parliamentary rules. You cannot say somebody lie. That is the rule. It's already set up. It's already established. You can't accuse someone of lying without proof. So now here's a situation where this man told another colleague that he lied. He went against parliamentary procedure. But Councillor Johnson referred to it as though it was just a bad word. Yes, it's a bad word,
But not only that, it's a bad word. There are policies, there are rules in place to prevent you from saying that particular word. It's time we do it in Liberia. It's time we be specific and say you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. And that's how the system develops. See, the United States Constitution did not get to where it is after when it wrote it the first time. When they wrote it the first time, they went back and put an amendment to the Constitution. Few years later, they did I think it was 1878, but maybe a few months, a year or so later, they created what they call the Judicial Act. The Judicial Act went further to streamline some of those things that were in the Constitution, because by so doing, now you're giving the people a better understanding of what is required of them or what is not required of them. And last but not the least, I'm not trying to hit on my friend Councilor Johnson, because I think he's a brilliant lawyer. I really do think so. I mean it. I mean, he knows the law and he speaks very, very clearly. But I heard him saying that, there are certain laws that were not repealed, like criminal coercion. He said it wasn't repealed. They only repealed some penal code, like, criminal malevolence and stuff like that. In a sense, he's right that he didn't do it. But any portion of the Liberian Penal Code that is remotely connected to what they repeal, those portions are by virtue also being repealed. I'll give you the example I'm talking about. I think in the 1973, I stand to be corrected, the immigration laws of Liberia, they deny women from passing on inheritance to their children, women. Okay, that law is still on the books. When you read the Constitution, you probably still see it. But that law, even though it's on the books, it's of no value anymore, because the 1986 Constitution grants citizenship to everybody across the board, woman or man of Liberian, heritage, who were born or citizens of Liberia. So just because they didn't go back to say we hereby repeal 1973 law that limits citizenship to women, they don't even have to do it. Once you create a new law that nullifies the previous law, it means that previous law is what they call implicitly repealed. It is of no value. So anything that has to do with criminal malevolence in Liberia Penal Code, it is by virtue of that repealed. So any other section you go to, whether it's criminal coercion or criminal harassment, as long as it is relating to what was repealed, that, not the whole law, but that section is by virtue also repealed. So the question to you, the veteran, and one of the best I've ever touched a microphone, as far as I know, what we have to do is just like your program, the program you guys have is very, very good, very educational, very informative. And I'm not saying this for people to agree with me, because people might disagree with me. But you know what? When you disagree with me, we have a discussion. You tell me where you think I'm wrong, and I tell you where you think you're wrong. And maybe we can have some commonality. We might meet somewhere and be like, okay, well, this makes sense. And we move forward. But we cannot have a society where one person is speaking, everybody's scared to do anything else. That's not how democracy developed. That's the reason why they allow people to speak freely, because when you speak freely, you get what's on your chest. In Liberia, can say the thing in your hand, you can put it down. The thing in your blood, you can put it down. If it's in your hand, put it down. They're talking about it. So where we go from here is just a matter of us, having a public discourse and hopefully reasons will prevail and we'll do better as a country and as a people.
Let me ask you a question.
Go
Will
ahead, sir.
Prophet P come out of prison as a changed man, and not get involved into the other things that might have led him illegally in jail?
You know, I have mixed feeling about Prophet Key from the standpoint that when he got put to jail or he got sent to jail, or when he came and said, "Oh, I apologize, I'm sorry," and this and that, I was like, "Oh my God, why are you saying this?" This was his opportunity to stand up for the law. In the end, what happened? They still put him in jail, and they put him in jail for longer than he's supposed to be. And not to say he was right, but this is freedom of speech. This is freedom of speech. And I hear most lawyers, they're always like, oh, freedom of speech has limitations. Yes, we agree. But what are those limitations? Okay. And laws already tell you what those limitations are. You can't say somebody is free to speak and then you threaten someone. You can't say somebody is free to, you can't go in a crowded theater and say, oh, I'm free to speak. So you start yelling, say fire, fire to create chaos and people running and mayhem and people getting hurt. That's not what freedom of speech is. You can incite people. You can say, you'll go cause problem, you'll do this. Those are the limitations. But just because you use invectives, it's not pleasant, it's not good. And if we feel that it is so much a problem in our society, it's easy. Just create a statute or an ordinance and see we can't do this. But until those things are done, we can't just jump in and start making the law on the fly. Now, whether Prophet Key will still do the things that he's doing, I can't speak to that. I don't know what his intentions would be. Maybe he would come out and he will be a changed man. And it will be a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing to have discussion with a cousin. It's a good thing. I appreciate that. But just because I don't like something, maybe other people like it. Freedom of speech means that people will say things that you don't like. As long as you don't cross that boundary. What is the boundary? It has to be specified. And until it's specified, the courts cannot come and just make laws addressing those issues if the legislature didn't do it.
Two more questions, and I call it a day, and yeah, you're coming. One
Go ahead,
is
sir.
the women. We might not like the decision for the Supreme Court, but for the most women and some men, they look at it as a victory for Prophet King being in jail. What do you think about it? The victory that they felt they have been victimized by the words that Prophet Key and one of the lawmaker, I forgot his name, Koluba, usually do to the president and other people. What would you say to these women otherwise when they feel that this was their victory and the only
I,
people who could do it is the Supreme Court?
well, I understand why they will feel the way they feel. They feel some type of relief because this gentleman. I mean, the vulgarity that he uses is just beyond me. I don't understand how you jump up. So a woman gave birth to you, a woman who did this, a woman you're married, you probably have children, maybe girls, and you just cuss them up like that. So I will understand why they would say, yeah, it's a good thing because apparently they couldn't fight back. They couldn't tell and say, my man, stop cussing me because they didn't have the platform for to address him. And even if they did, they probably wouldn't have a sustained insult against this guy to the point that it looked like that he made his living. From what I hear, I don't know, but it said that how he made his living. And incidentally, I also heard, and I could be wrong, that most of the support that he got was from women. But we always tend to like the things when it's against our frame. When you cussing my frame, then I'm your frame. Excuse me, when you cussing my enemy, then I'm your frame. But when you're cussing me now, then I don't like you. So as long as he wasn't doing it to them per se, but he was doing it to other people, they were enjoying it. So these people probably felt like, you know what? It's good that they put him in jail. It's good that he got sent to jail. I can understand their feeling. But it shouldn't have been that way. They should have advocated to the legislature and said, the amount cussing thing is too much. You'll pass a law that will curtail the amount cussing. See, you guys are in the radio business. There are certain things you can't go on the radio and say, public airwaves, because they have restrictions. FCC, the Liberia Telecommunication, whoever looks after those things, they have rules and say you can't do X, Y, Z. So they're in place. But on the internet, do we have rules for that? Probably not. Instead of us trying to work to fix these things, we're trying to legislate just because we don't like it. This was not the first time Prophet Key did it. He did it to so many people. I think he did it to the quarter ambassador, Judy Andy, I think that's her name, and they dropped the case. And when they dropped the case, at the time, they were right for dropping the case because the crime for which Prophet Key was being punished, it was really not a crime per se. So they dropped the case. But now it happened to the Supreme Court, they feel that it's a case. No, it shouldn't have been a case either. So what he would do when he comes out, I don't know. I hope he doesn't start cussing again. I'm not in favor of him cussing. I hope he doesn't do it again. But it sends a chilling message to the freedom of speech that we so dearly hold.
So can we have a FCC that monitor the media because we make Prophet Key?
Of course, you can do that. You know, Article 5 of the Constitution already told you. Article 5, which I read earlier, we say we have to promote our culture, we have to do this, we have to do all the kind of things that in keeping with harmony. It already finished giving us the blueprint. Now we have to go and institute the specific laws to those effect. That's all I'm saying. We have to make those laws to say you can't do X, Y, Z. We can't just jump up and say, oh, I don't like this, so against I vested it. That's how dictators act. Today I'm okay, tomorrow I'm not okay. When it's the rule of law, it has to apply evenly across the board, or not evenly per se, but equitably. See, so we already have the blueprint. The Constitution is the blueprint. We just have to go by it.
And lastly, and then you can give your closing comment. Today was a historical day seen in Foya, Lofa County, where the flag of Liberia was lifted by citizens against the will of the Guinean government, a Guinean soldier, putting our flag down, dispute between borders, and the citizen went and played our national anthem, sang our national anthem, and lifted the flag. Protecting the territorial rights of Liberia. What the Constitution speak towards that, and what will you say about those Britian citizens that did it, and the Guinean sort of soldier retreated to the country? What will you say about that as a civil rights lawyer?
Well, I mean, that's territorial integrity. You got your boundaries here and there, or that is internationally recognized. This is your spot. This is your area. You know, anybody encroach on your land, I mean, that's a recipe for disaster. You know, most bitter wars are fought over land. People trying to acquire property. In Ukraine right now, in Russia, they're fighting over land. You know, and you can go down history, you see all those things. I mean, we have the Mana River Union. We have been living in peace and harmony. I remember the days of Sekou Toure, President Tubman, and what's his name, Houphouët Boigny, and what's the Sierra Leonean president, Shaka Stevens. I mean, we live in such harmony in that region, even in Ghana, Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, or what the other many, Shehu Shagari. But anyway, I'm just saying that those things must be respected. You can't have other people encroaching on your land, and we don't. Right now we're not even thinking about. We just come from fighting all those wars. We don't need those type of things. I hope the authorities in both countries will sit down and discuss it and make sure they respect each other's territorial boundaries. Now, if Liberia is doing something on her side of the land that is undermining in Guinea, that's something to be discussed. I don't know. I don't have any facts on it. I don't know. But let's just say, for example, Liberia is sand mining. And the sand mining on that side of the land might be affecting the irrigation system in what you call the place in Guinea. Guinea would certainly have a concern. Equally so, if Guinea is doing that to Liberia, Liberia should have a concern. But as far as crossing that territorial boundary, just because you have the might to do it, that's wrong. And I hope that they can come together and discuss that diplomatically. And, we don't need that. Guineans are our brothers, sisters, also our Sierra Leoneans, and all our Ivorians and Ghanaians, and even this stuff that's been going on in Ghana about some kid or some guy who got beat up and all kinds of things. We don't need those things. We are way behind the curve. We need to be trying to find ways that we can promote harmony. In the Liberian Constitution, one of the things that they speak about is African unity. So we all have to work towards that. Raising people's flag and doing this. And I mean, I understand why they would do that. People have their own egos and they want to stand up. But what if the Ghanaian soldiers had open fire? What would we do? Liberia would send the army to open fire for unnecessarily. I mean, when I say unnecessarily, I'm not talking about the Liberians. I'm talking about the Guineans. But it was a feel good moment for the Liberians who were there, hoisting the Liberian flag and singing the national anthem. It's patriotic from their standpoint, but I think these things should be handled diplomatically.
Thank you. But why was our military not around?
We don't have the resources, bro. I think we won't have 500. I don't know what the towers. I don't know what the military number is, but we don't have the resources to be all to these different places. Our border, that why it's so porous. People come in and go out, come in and go out. I mean, I guess we haven't put that much importance on it, and for good reason, because we're all neighbors. We shouldn't be fighting for those types of things. I mean, we should be trying to develop our country for our people. Make sure they have a good living, good livelihood, hospitals, schools, educate. We trade. I mean, we're even talking about using Liberia as a route for transporting ore from Guinea to Liberia. Maybe they have other plans now. I don't know. But those things are not necessary. When we in Liberia see them doing something, Guinea foreigner, come on, man, we need to stop that. We need to stop that. And I'm sure those other countries are doing it too, and they need to stop it as well. And if they can't stop it, then maybe we'll have to take appropriate action to protect our people. But I don't think we should escalate anything of that sort. Because guess who's gonna die? Like the innocent people, like people at the border. We ain't want to fight no war, man. We tired now. We tired fighting war. For 14 years, that's a long time.
Mr. Uh, uh, Theodore Abraham for being
Yes,
our
sir.
special guest. And now
Anytime.
you can give your comment. And if you want to join us on Saturday, 4 p.m., you can do it too, where other panelists will be available and we can
Okay.
engage lawyers and other things. 4 p.m.
Uh,
Eastern time if you have the chance on Saturday. So you can get your final words of, you can give your comment to our many listeners who listen to you right now.
Okay. Well, thank you very much again for having me, to the panelists and everybody who tuning to listen. I think it's a very good program you guys have. And it just takes one at a time. Reach one person, reach one ear, the next ear. And before you know it, everybody's gonna have the opportunity to hear you and hopefully learn from you. And I'm not saying these things because I'm always right. I'm pretty sure there are times that I'm wrong. But I don't mind if people challenge the authenticity of what I'm saying, or if they challenge, the factualness of what I'm saying. And maybe we can all discuss. If I realize that maybe there's something that I didn't see before and you brought it to my attention, I'll be open to amending my position. But until that happens, we have to keep talking and not fighting. So keep up the good work. I know it was kind of crazy us connecting from the start, but hopefully the next time, now that I know the procedure that is involved, once it happens, I'll be good and ready to go, and then we can have a more lively discussion on not just this topic, but any other topic of legal concerns.
Thank you very much. And we appreciate you being our special guest tonight. And
All
feel
right. Thank
free
you, sir.
anytime to come.
All right. Not a problem. Have a good day or night to all my
Okay.
people. Bye.
We've been speaking to Theodore Abraham. He's from USA, a civil rights lawyer who educated about Prophet Key and the Supreme Court decision. And we hope you learned something. Join us tomorrow when we have another informative edition. I dare to differ. So, Alex, any final word before we leave?
Yeah, so I just want to appreciate the guest for coming. I like the way he presented his, you know, a whole discussion and people understand. So I hope there shouldn't be a first and a last, but always to be here with us. So thank you, Chief, for coming. You're welcome us anytime.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
sir.
having me,
Thanks for
Alex.
having
I
me, Alex.
appreciate
I
that.
appreciate that.
Okay. Alex can
Okay.
play
Alex
our
can
tune
play
as
our
we go
tune as
home.
we go home.
Liberia, my people like Taibo. Top FM 105.3, we on the air. Leader, shout, Sheku Koroma. Archie right, play. Alex Diulu. Rock, producer correct. All tonight, we beg to this day. I beg to differ, my people. If it's not correct, we go talk am so. From 9 o'clock till 12 midnight, we still think how we ready to fight. No palava, no fear inside. Truth must talk, we not go hide. Call Mr. Chotubo, bring them sense. Ready veterans, with them and friends. I'm a strong talk and clear, clear. Anthony W. see the make me think clear. Claudia Smith, one woman here. You wrong, she go say. Leader G, how this side, want me don't it be the light. Keep up people, you're ready. Number some, steady, steady. Rock push to down, for market to yard. If the matter strong, we ain't keep track. If the matter strong, we go talk. If they hide them strong, we go bring them. If you make small, pull yourself a stick. I p.m. to 12 midnight. The problem time, no sleeping business. Your voice, my tired. So that it can you embrace it in Canada. It won't be done. I beg to differ, my people. If it's not correct, we got to come so. From 9 o'clock till 12 midnight, we sitting here, we ready to fight. No palaver, no fear inside. Look for stuff, we not go hide. But Mr. Jungle, oh, bring that sense. Ready to transmission of sense. I was right to talk and clear. And I need of you guys really make the thing fair. Claudia sleep, strong woman, yeah. If you wrong, she go say, Leader G, how this time, oh, me county, we my people, we are ready. Remember, don't put to down from up to yard. If the man that's strong, we hit it hard. If the thing not straight, we go talk. If you went small, pull yourself up. If they hide it, we go.
So that's it. It's better tomorrow. So folks, that's it. And this is how we like to call it a date on the program. I beg to differ here this wonderful evening. The name is